Do 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 do.
You're in a good mood.
It scares me when he's in this mood.
I've got new shoes on.
You have got new shoes on.
You have got new shoes on.
Shoes on.
You as a stylist, you should probably consider socks that match your trainers.
No, I've done it on purpose.
You didn't.
Just to jolt me.
It's,
No, it's actually, it really is obsessing me.
or is that like a onesie you've got under there? Is it like a whole bodysuit?
A bit like Dennis the Menace.
Hey, don't knock Dennis the Menace.
You could be my desperate Dan.
You're James the
Wow.
pervert.
I think it's probably best to start preparing.
Popcorn Pundits.
Podcast.
Week.
25.
You got it.
Date is.
Thank you very much, producer and editor,
Date,
Nikki
James?
Smart.
Date is.
The date is the
Thursday.
Thursday in April.
Which one?
It's going to be the 19th.
It's close.
Yes, close.
Close enough, I think we'll go with.
Should we get 18th? Should we call
Yeah,
it
we'll
18th?
go with
Let's go for the 18th. It's Thursday, the 18th of March, and welcome to your Popcorn Pundits.
We've done 100.
We have.
That's pretty impressive,
That's
isn't it?
terrifying,
Yeah.
really. We've done, 25 episodes of these Pundit podcasts.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And we've watched a ton of filmage, haven't we?
We have
Yeah.
a lot this year.
Yeah.
I'm really, really enjoying it. I'd say this year has been absolutely tremendous. So we're here to ensure that you know what's going on in the top 10 in the UK cinema charts. We're also here to highlight one or two films that we've seen this week and give us our point of view about it. But we're also starting to get a fantastic deluge of people letting us what they think about what films we're watching as well, which we're encouraging, aren't we?
Yep, we're getting there.
Absolutely. And then Pete's going to tell us about his homework that I've given him, and we'll go from there. Is that okay, producer?
That is okay.
What do you think, Peter?
I think we should crack on.
Peter,
Yes, James.
tell me about the top 10 in the UK charts.
Okay, the top 10
Yes.
is a little bit odd this week.
It is. You have pointed out, and I agree with you completely.
Because I don't know number 10,
I have no idea what number 10 is.
and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing Bade Mian correctly.
So do I.
It's elite soldiers team up to recover a stolen weapon from a masked madman who wants to destroy India.
That's what I said.
Sounds like a Mission Impossible jobby, doesn't it?
Does.
Number 9, we're in the same boat as number 10, really.
Yeah.
Avesham. Anyone?
I think you did a really good job pronouncing
Anyone?
that.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's an honest IPS officer who is suspended due to his angry nature, starts an organisation to help the public. He decides to help an innocent couple that is trapped by the police and a fake godman.
And what part of the world is that from?
I believe India.
Oh, fantastic. There's been amazing films coming from there recently. What's number 8, Peter?
The First Omen. You've seen it, I haven't. I'm going to go and see it this week.
I think you should see it.
Yeah, I really want to see it.
I think
You've got me into this horror thing, and it's just like, and I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel left out.
No,
anymore.
don't. And you need to see this as well, because and also you need to watch the Omen movie from
Yes.
1970 straight afterwards.
after it, yeah.
Yeah, to get that continuity.
Absolutely. Number 7 is Monkey Man.
Monkey Man.
We gave a pretty decent review to
Well,
last
and
week.
so we should have done, because it was
Yeah.
a pretty decent movie. Well done, Dev.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
all the staff in the cinema are referring to it as it's very Bruce Lee, which I think is a bit of an easy cop out of a
I think
description.
it's a lot deeper than that. Because
Yeah.
Bruce Lee, if you look at Enter the Dragon, it's a very two-dimensional film. This has a lot more going on.
Number 6, June 2nd.
Yes.
Number 5,
Yes.
Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
Yes.
Number 4, Godzilla x Kong:
The New Empire.
The New Empire. Number 3, Kung Fu Panda 4.
Not from an empire.
If any description. Number 2 is our review film of this week, which is Civil War.
Civil War.
And number 1 is Back to Black.
Which one of our wonderful listeners has actually given us a review for?
Thank you very much, Jenna.
Yes.
Ah, cool. Should we do that now?
We'll do it later.
Okay,
Ooh,
producer.
I like this.
Yeah. I had a little whip crack
I
then.
know, I
Yeah,
quite like
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mildly aroused.
It had a pink feather on the end.
Awesome.
What, the arousement or the whip?
A bit of both.
Okay.
We also need to quickly apologise for last week's episode. The last 2.5/3 minutes, the sound magically vanished. So Peter's homework this week is actually a surprise to everyone.
Yeah.
Not to Peter, though.
No.
Well, I would hope not to Peter.
Not to Peter.
And we have suitably chastised the production team now, haven't we? And
Yes.
they've got it right for this week, hopefully.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they've
So
been
that's...
whipped into shape, don't worry.
That's your top 10 and your apologies.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. So
Correct.
there's a couple of bits on the top 10 which we need to go and see this week.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go and see Back to Black for sure, and I'm going to go and see The First Omen as well.
Yes. I might go and see Back to Black. But Abigail's coming out on Friday.
It is
as
coming
well,
out
so
on
I'm
Friday,
very
yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah. And we've got a preview of the challenges on Monday.
We do as well, and I'm looking forward to that as well. I know nothing about it. All I know is it's got to do with balls and nets.
Yes.
That's all I know.
It's one of those things it's a sport thing.
Is it a sport thing?
Yeah, I think you're probably not
I
going to
can't
like it.
wait. You know I'm famous for loving my sports movies.
Oh, yes.
It's a remake of Any Given Sunday.
Yes, I can't
The
wait.
second half.
On a lawn. New balls, please.
Beautiful. I'm quite looking forward to it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks a bit funky.
it does.
Looks very slick. It looks like a movie from the 90s.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a film. I'll come back to that later.
Okay. So, we are reviewing Civil War. Alex Garland's
Yes.
Mirror on America.
Yeah. So you're a massive fan of Alex
I
Garland.
bloody love Alex Garland.
And I can't wait to hear your
I
review of this
I
film.
bloody love Alex Garland.
Yeah.
Um,
I've got a sneaky feeling we might have slightly different reviews.
I'm
for
hoping
this.
we have. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's obviously famous for Ex Machina
Yes, and Men.
and Men, obviously.
Yeah.
But did you know that he also wrote 28 Days Later?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay, that's because it's on the poster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously famously directed by Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
So I didn't know he wrote 28 Days Later, Alex. And I'll come back to that. I will refer back to that later. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you want to tell us about
Yes.
it? Sure.
I do indeed. So this film, what I love about this film is the ambiguity of this film. Okay. Nothing really is explained in reference to why this event is happening. There's no really deep backstory about why this story is happening and how it's come about. There's also no real explanation about who is technically bad and who's technically good in this as well. So you come to this completely fresh, right at the beginning of this movie, where you have the most beautiful actor, Nick Offerman, who introduces himself as the President of the United States.
In a bumbling manner.
Yes. And what's beautiful, you can really see that. I love to watch actors who are able to look like they don't look like they're doing, and they do it so well, and he's so good at that. He's obviously famous for being in The Last of Us, and a multitude of other comedy movies, but when he does a serious role, he does it really, really well. And so the start of this movie is the President of the United States explaining to the whole of America that they have just won the war, they've just won the Civil War, and everything's fine.
Yes.
You immediately know that everything is not fine. You immediately know that he is talking through his bottom, and you immediately know that everything's going completely south. So realistically, that kind of sets you up for the whole story, to be fair. And there's no explanation, there's no reason why this is happening, but there's a civil war going on in the United States.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the lead roles, Kirsten Dunst. How do you pronounce that?
Wagner.
Yes, I thought so.
Wagner Mora.
And
Callie Spaney.
yeah, Kelly Spence. Now she was so it's technically a road trip movie of a group of journalists who are. There's a mixture of journalistic obsession, but also thrill seeking, where you get that with those really, really sort of high octane. Different careers where sometimes you're never quite sure if they're chasing the thrill of almost being killed as opposed to getting that shot. So to me, this is the closest thing you would get to a documentary about a war crime, about war journalism. It's you follow the journey of Kirsten Dunst, who's decided that she's going to interview and photograph the president.
It's like a balance of an endorphin rush,
Yes,
and journalistic integrity.
100%.
They're kind of balancing these two things out, aren't
Definitely.
they? And basically they're suggesting that the last remaining story of the Civil War
That's right.
is an interview with the president.
That's right, 100%. So it's, as I said, it's a classic road movie where they're going from state to state, they're going from town to town, and you see the whole of America unfolding in front of you as they're travelling towards the president, and as like all beautiful films that aren't two-dimensional, it's not as clear-cut as you would think it would be in a scenario such as this. So I think if this was a more of a Hollywood Americanized movie, it would have been the music would have been more inclined with car chases and shoot 'em outs and dramatic action, and you don't get that from this movie, because with this movie you get moments of boredom, you get moments of sheer terror out of not knowing what's going to happen rather than knowing what's going to happen.
So I texted you last night after I'd seen it, and I didn't mention anything about the film.
Nope.
I didn't mention anything about the plot or
That's
the
right.
characters or anything. I just asked you which screen you'd seen it in, because there is one screen at the cinema which we go to, which has got it's called the iSense cinema.
That's right.
And it's got that Dolby Atmos.
Is that screen 1 or screen 2?
Screen 1 at
we went
Neighbourhood.
to screen 2 then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because the whatever happens in that cinema,
Yes.
it just sounds unbelievable, and like the three-dimensional sound, and because there's a lot of gunshots in this film, and the gunshots are terrifying.
Yeah.
They sound so realistic, and they do bring you out of moments of boredom sometimes in the film.
Yeah.
And if you can see a film with that sound, that Dolby Atmos sound system,
That's the one.
It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible.
I agree, 100%. So the story it's a very simplistic story. As I said, being a road movie, you go from one part of the country to the other part of the country, and the relationships forge, and you've initially got 4 characters in a transit van, traveling across America, interacting mainly with other journalists, and then ever so often following the Civil War activists.
Yes.
Because obviously they are following the activists rather than being on the side of the army. Because the army obviously stuck with the president, guarding him. What I really truly love about this film, most of all, is the fact that you're never quite sure who's good and who's bad. It's never really explained. There's lots and lots of references and mirroring to the Trump scenario, and Washington and the atrocities that happened there a couple of years ago. So it's almost too real when it comes to that sort of side of filmmaking. What do you think?
I'm being quite quiet about this because you've described everything absolutely perfectly.
Thank you. It's unusual for me.
Apart from you've done it with an excitement in your voice and a smile on your face.
Yes!
Because I agree with everything you said.
Yes.
Apart from the fact that I hate everything that you just said. Because this film has no identifiable plot whatsoever.
No.
You don't know.
No.
You don't know who to put your badge on.
Not at all.
You don't get any relationship development during
No.
the film. You said there's relationship development. I didn't give a shit about Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura from the very start.
No, because
and I wanted them all to be shot to death in the end, by the end of the film, because that development never came. And I'm like on a road trip.
Oh, this is good. I like this.
Because I knew you were going to review this this with love, and I absolutely hated it.
Brilliant.
Jessie, like the young character.
Yes.
She's portrayed as everything between 15 and 30 through the film. There's no kind of real edge. Why would the militia, if they are the militia, why would they allow these photographers to be standing right next to them when they're being shot at and could potentially shout out, "They're behind you"? Well, it just makes no sense whatsoever. The plot is nonsense. The development is awful.
Wow.
There are some absolutely
The tyre scene.
Stunning moments in this film. There is some beautiful cinematography. There are some beautiful scenes.
He knows what to do
in
with
this.
the camera, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yes.
There are certain scenes where there's a scene where there are trees burning in the forest. I would rather have watched 2 hours of that.
Oh, that was a
than
really surreal moment, wasn't it?
I mean, we're not told why the trees are burning.
No, we don't.
And
we
not
don't
all
want
the
to
trees
know
are burning.
why.
No, we don't. It was the artistic, and that was beautiful.
Yes.
But these beautiful scenes are separated out by absolute horseshit of nonsense. It's like there is nothing. So I mean, like I was making notes about it today. And I was like, the plot was wishy-washy. the premise of the journey to interview the president. I mean, it's nonsense. But why would they be the only people that would think that that's the last thing to be done? You know, I just hated it. No relationship development was the next line. There was no plot was the next line.
You see,
what is it trying to be?
Everything that you're saying, okay, everything that you're saying, I agree with,
I know.
okay, and I love. I tell you the reason why, because I say, all right, so the lack of cliche relationship development. There was no hidden subtext of any romance going on there at all. There was a little bit of bizarre grooming and sort of under the wing from what's his name,
Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner, and the new. So basically, what you've got there, you got Kirsten Dunst, who is a veteran photographer who's basically lost all the will with humanity. As far as she's concerned, she's there to do the job, and if one of her colleagues is being shot, she will take a photograph of that colleague being shot because that is journalism as far as she's concerned.
Did you think that Kirsten Dunst acted well in this?
Amazingly.
Did you? Because I thought she was terrible in this, I really like Kirsten Dunst. I've watched, I would say, everything she's done, and I thought she was terrible in this. Literally from the first scene, when she's so in the opening scene, she saves the character Jessie from a suicide bomb attack, and there's just nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing, and actually that's quite interesting because you're reading it one way and I'm reading it another way, and I hope I'm right because she annoyed me through it, and I didn't think that Joel, like Wagner Moore's, I didn't think his acting. He was supposed to be a particular character in this, in my mind, which was like the cool, funky, like, you know, brave and like, you know, and you know, drag everybody around to do everything,
lifting up the atmosphere with a bit of humour in the wrong moments, that sort of thing.
I didn't think he had the charm to do that. And
and that's what's lovely about this podcast, I have to say, because we are both watching the same imagery. We're both agreeing on what we're seeing, but we are disagreeing why they've made it like that.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because I was watching it last night, and I went into the cinema in a really great mood yesterday. I was just like, I was really excited to go to the cinema, watch a good film, and I went in knowing absolutely nothing about it. And it starts off in a way that gets you excited about the film. And now within like 10 minutes of watching it, I knew that we were going to be having this discussion on the sofa.
Within 10 minutes, I was getting so excited about every single sound, every single backdrop, every single moment. And then when Kirsten Dunst's husband turned up, I got majorly aroused. He stole the show. So you've got Kirsten Dunst, who is a beautiful actor who hasn't been making gigantic blockbusters for at least 10 years because she's been concentrating on more independent movies, her own lifestyle. She was in that beauty. She was in the dog film with Cumberbatch recently. That was beautiful, and she was also in Black Mirror as well. So she's making some fantastic choices. And what I really love about her as an actor, she wears her lack of plastic surgery on her sleeve.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And
initially, when you're watching this film, you're initially looking at this film and you think to yourself, what's jarring with this image? It's because she didn't have plastic surgery. So you look at a lead actor in this film, a gigantic film, a lead actor, and she hasn't had plastic surgery, and it seems that is so much more real, that's so much more identifiable.
Well, she looks like an everyday woman.
Exactly. Yeah. No makeup, the whole works. And it was, and to me, I think and you're not the first person to give a less than heartily review of this film, because this film is either black and white with reviews at the moment. So people are either giving it 1s or 2s, or they're giving it 9s and 10s. Okay, and I think
how interesting is it? So I haven't seen any other reviews anywhere. But I was watching it yesterday, and I just felt it had overtones of you, and I just kind of thought you're gonna but this is okay. We're producing a podcast,
absolutely,
and I've said on a number of occasions that your film knowledge is actually pretty sensational.
Thank you.
And I couldn't wait to hear what you thought about this film, so I knew you'd like it, and I didn't get it. And last night I was watching it, and I just thought the whole thing from start to finish was hugely disappointing.
You see, I'll give you an example. There's 1 or 2 references where people are getting quite annoyed, where you've got the publicity for this film, which makes the film look slightly more American, slightly more Americanized, slightly more Hollywood than it really is. So in all the PR for this movies, you've got the iconic image of the top of the Empire State Building, for instance.
Yeah.
And you've got all the soldiers looking out. You don't see any of that in the movie, okay? Yeah. In also in the posters, you see the harbour with like gigantic sort of warships veering up for this civil war. You don't see any of that really in the film at all. The only heavy artillery you see is all helicopters going over continuously, and that's just like relentlessly, and that's almost hypnotic after a while because it's just so just continuous all the time. But what's really, really special about this film, I think, is how low key it is. Okay, so when they do go into the president's office, it's just one woman there, just standing there going, "I'm trying to save the president," and it's that lack of sensationalism, it's that lack of. It's not a stupid movie, and it doesn't spoon feed you every single thing, and that's what I adore about this movie, and that's what I adore about this director.
Okay, that's great. I think you know me. I'm quite a I'm quite a lineal film watcher.
Yeah.
That I think certain things have to have certain rules. And I do.
You do. You are a stickler, and you make these little rules in your head, and you think, if you're not adhering to my rules, I'm not playing.
Yeah, and I wasn't playing. I don't think you can have a road movie without. So what I would have liked in this film,
dear Alex,
what could have made this film better?
Yes,
I wanted to feel more vested in the relationship between Lee and Joel, so between Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura. There was nothing for me to grab onto in terms of why they were such a tight unit that were going to be the ones that were going to stand out. Okay, so I would have liked maybe a flashback to something that they'd done historically
that
together.
Really riled me up.
I know. I would have
in
loved
black
it.
and white, maybe a bit grainy.
Yeah, maybe now I understand why they care.
Yeah,
I wanted to see. Okay, so I mean, Kirsten Dunst's character is basically she's supposed to be the leader of this little gang of photographers or whatever.
I think she's one that gets the shot. She's the one that every single photographer will turn around and go, follow her because she's going to get that particular shot. She's the money shot. And that's the reason why. It's not. I don't think there's any. I don't think she never. Not at one point she'd go. Right, we're all going to do this, and we're all going to. I'm going to do this, and if you're following me, you're following me. And she's a very lone character.
But she didn't say that generally, and I found it annoying that Jessie got in the car. I found it really annoying.
So did Kirsten Dunst's character.
Yeah, but I just don't think she would have got in the car if Kirsten Dunst was true to her character. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, all right then.
To me, Kirsten Dunst should have been imparting knowledge onto Jessie.
No. You see, because that's from every single road trip cliche book that you could possibly find. To me, her disdain for her, at the same time of her go, what is she doing in the back of this car? But she's now my responsibility, and I don't want her to be my responsibility. And yes, she is reflecting about what I used to be like when I was younger, and I'm upset because she's reminding me of what I used to be like before I was cold and distant and I'm not impartial. And that's what I love about it, because it's an intellect. It's the first time for a long time you get such a gigantic war movie that has that level of intellect, but without really seeing it any war.
So I don't see it as intellect. Because they've left it. You can't look at a blank page and say it's a beautiful poem. You just can't do that.
Whoa.
You can't.
You like that? That was good, wasn't it?
I mean, they've left too much out of this film for it to be beautiful, and I really wanted to. I started it and I thought, okay, actors I like, the premise I like, and they left it too much up to interpretation. I felt
that's where we'll agree to disagree.
But this is why it's great.
Absolutely,
this is why it's great. But unfortunately, that taints my score massively because I came out really feeling that they'd missed a trick.
Okay, before we give scores.
Oh, just one more thing.
Yeah, go on.
I think you misplaced your sexual tension.
Do tell.
The sexual tension is between Jessie and Lee. It's not between her and Joel Wagner Moura.
No.
When she's trying the dress on and she's taking photographs of her.
Yeah, no, to be fair, there's definitely I adore you. It's not sexual though. I don't think she is just purely in awe of her, and I don't think I see where you're coming from. And there was an instant where I thought, Maybe. And then her adoration towards her was so obvious that to me it felt like it was just a young person in total awe of her as a photographer. And that poignant moment of her taking the photograph at the end was really, really important, I think. Now, before you give scores, there's one more important thing I need to discuss is the music in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the music is out of place on purpose.
Right.
Okay, I've not read on this. It's my flaw. And when the music first started in this film, I thought that is brilliant. Okay, because there are moments in this film where an upbeat, slightly sort of retro pop track would just be jolted in there, and not even in the middle of a shootout in an ironic sort of way, but just in a moment of sheer sort of darkness within the movie. And that juxtaposition between that and what was going on was so clever. And that to me really portrayed the lack of empathy all of the journalists had for everybody there, because they were just basically photographing dead bodies of people that they knew. There's no empathy, there's no love. And I was so exhausted at the end of this film, I didn't go to that birthday party on Saturday night because I was emotionally drained.
Wow.
I was excited, but also my love for humanity and my fear of this becoming reality was actually quite intense.
Okay, that's really interesting because I didn't get any of that. I got I don't think you can call it a plot twist, but I guessed what was going to happen at the end of the film from the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
It just left me a bit flat and a bit disappointed.
Okay. So, scores on the doors.
There were some epic scenes in this.
There were.
So it's not a 3 or a 4 or a 5,
Yes.
but it's a 6.5 from me.
Okay. Well, I was expecting slightly less from you during your. Yeah, I'm definitely giving it an 8.7.
Ooh.
Definitely
That's
giving it an 8.7.
Tricky maths for
Yeah,
producer Nick.
exactly. If you
7.6.
like, sorry,
7.6.
7.6.
And
Yes.
on IMDb, it's 7.6.
Well, to be fair, we always get it bang on IMDb when we disagree. Because you're like so giddy high and I'm such a bitch.
Jesse Ploman, swear to God, that man.
Would you like a few quick facts?
Please do.
So it is distributed by an American independent entertainment company called A24.
Oh, I know. I love that production company.
A lot this year.
Yeah.
This film grossed 26 million domestically on its opening weekend, which is more than any other A24 film, surpassing Hereditary, which was in 2018, with 14 million. It's also the first A21 film to open at number 1 at the box office.
I think they did Night Swim.
It also cost 50 million. It's the most expensive A24 film, surpassing Beau is Afraid, which cost 35 million.
Yeah.
And its American release date was on April the 12th, 2024, and the real American Civil War began exactly 163 years before that.
That was so clever. So clever.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for that.
Good work, Nicky.
Thanks.
Thank you very much,
Actually,
Nikki.
the helicopter scenes in this are pretty epic, aren't they? They
That scene with the tyre. The fella.
Oh yeah.
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 That is very Alex Garland.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very Alex Garland.
Yeah,
So, and that's very 28 Days Later. That sort
Yeah.
of, and that's where you were truly in the eyes of the journalist. Nikki, we've had some reviews sent to us by our listeners and viewers. Would you like to keep us informed? What's going on?
Shall I start with the 2 Civil War ones?
Please do.
Okay, so the first one came to us via Instagram, and that was from Mr. Tom Brown.
Hi, Thomas Brown. Very good DJ.
He sent us a lovely message on Monday to say it's Movie Monday. And then he said, "Morning pundits, gosh, where do I start? I haven't read this yet, so there may be spoilers, just warnings."
Okay.
That was a very good film. My favourite scene was the garage scene. It was intense seeing the two geezers on the car wash.
Yeah.
The scene
hanging.
with the secret shooter in the house by Winter Wonderland was okay, but not really needed.
No, I disagree.
it would have been nice to see who was in that house rather than see the soldier
No,
shoot
that's
off
the whole
screen
point.
and kill someone.
So I'm with him.
I thought it was a bit lazy. The third act, he's making it like a play.
I
love
know.
it.
I like this. This is very good.
Was epic. 20 minutes of just pure shooting. It was lush, and I really liked the hunt
He's so
for
young, the
president
millennials.
as he wasn't in the cars. And then there's a slight spoiler here.
Go on.
So Lee's death was good, and I liked how it reversed what was said earlier in the film. Will you take a photo of me being shot? What do you think?
Oh, good old Thomas.
He also said, better than Monkey Man, sorry James, but not as good as Argyle, sorry all of you. On another note...
Stop immediately. We are blocking him from all social medias.
He did say, on another note, I am really looking forward to The Fall Guy next month with Ryan Gosling.
I'm quite excited about it.
Would you like Lawrence's...
Yes,
review?
please. Lawrence has sent through a voicemail, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to try and play
Oh,
this.
I like a Lawrence voicemail.
Here we go.
Hello, Popcorn Pundits. It's Lawrence here, just giving you a quick review of Civil War, which I saw last week when it came out. It's essentially a road trip movie for journalists as they move through this Civil War landscape. I thought it was good.
That's right.
I liked, it acted really well. It's quite an intimate sort of story, but set in the sort of context of this kind of raging war, which you kind of see bits of as they go and move through. Really well acted, as I say. I like the use of sound in it. Some of the soundtrack was amazing. I like the way they took these as they went through. The different characters took these photos and they became kind of snapshots of what they'd seen. And at that point, the sound kind of cut out. I thought that was quite good. Some very sort of jarring moments actually between those things. On the sort of the con side, there was no real kind of context of the Civil War. I think when I looked at the trailer. And when you looked at the movie poster, which had like an aircraft carrier kind of in New York Harbour, I thought there was going to be a bit more kind of a context around why the war had occurred. But understandably, they kind of played quite a neutral bat on that, and he didn't really get much of that. He didn't get any of that, but it came through to a nice kind of conclusion at the end. It reminded me quite a bit of Apocalypse Now, where the characters in that film are kind of going through this journey and coming across these kind of scenes of some of real kind of horror and some are really kind of out of context of the war, in that case in Vietnam, in this case the Civil War in America, but you sort of saw these different sort of scenes as they evolved, which I thought was good. Overall, really liked it. Recommend it, especially recommend seeing it at the cinema, obviously, and that's it. Hope you're all well, guys. Cheers, keep up the good work, bye.
Ah,
Oh, thanks, Lawrence.
thank you, Lawrence.
I wish he did a podcast. He's really good, isn't
He
he?
should do. Yeah. He'd be so good if he did a podcast.
He would, especially a film one.
Yes. I did invite him. He said, no, that's why you're here. Anyway, so...
I don't know who you were looking at. I think you were
Exactly.
doing that thing
I might be
looking at
looking
one
at
person
myself.
and talking to another.
Exactly.
That's how I'm taking it anyway.
Going a bit off piece from the
Yes.
film, we've had other messages on Facebook.
Yes.
Neil Overall,
Hi, Neil.
he said, what do the Popcorn Pundits make of the new Joker trailer?
Oh, now you've only just watched it fairly freshly, haven't you? About half an hour ago. I've watched it 3 times so far.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm trying not to watch it anymore because I'm I'm like, I don't like to watch too many trailers before I watch a movie.
No, but this is a brilliant trailer because it doesn't give anything away.
And you know how much I love that.
It is. So I've just watched it before
Yes.
we've done the podcast, and I found myself grinning like a moron 3 times during
Yeah.
a 2 minute 25-second trailer. There is some beautiful cinematic shots in it. It's fantastic. Gaga looks epic,
Doesn't she?
but I've got no clue what's going to happen in it.
No.
But it's so I like it.
There has been on the interweb, there has been some comparisons, and they've actually been splitting the screen in between La La Land
Yeah.
and the new Joker movie.
Right,
And there are literally direct references almost every single scene in the
Oh,
advert.
serious?
It's very, very clever. Very, very clever indeed. So obviously La La Land was a musical as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Joker 2 being a musical, I think they've chosen to be a musical for exactly the same reason why they chose the Gary Glitter track at the end of the movie. Just to really split everybody down the middle. and go, right.
Oh, we're going to give it a brilliant review, aren't we?
Cannot wait. Neil, thank you very much for highlighting that. I personally loved it. I'm giving it a 7 or 8 out of 10 for an advert.
Oh no, it's a cracking 8 trailer.
Exactly,
Love it. So
exactly.
That was Neil over on Facebook. Thank you. On WhatsApp, Jenna Killington.
Yes. Hi, Jenna.
She has been to see Back to Black.
Now, I bumped into Jenna the other day at a beautiful cottage. She's got a fabulous cottage. And she mentioned to me that she was going to see Back to Black. And I mentioned to her that I was unsure about it because I wasn't quite sure about why it was made.
The ethics
of it and who made it. But she's come up with a rather interesting review. Would you like to explain what Jenna's read or written?
Yeah, she loved it. She said, loved Back to Black, thought she was brilliant, cried from the opening scene and felt depicted that time of heroin chic brilliantly.
Short and neat. I like that in a review.
You should give it a go sometime.
We should. What, short and neat? That's not going to happen, is it? Let's face it.
It's never going to happen.
No. Okay then.
Over on YouTube, we have had Zach Milne.
We might as well just give up, aren't we? Just let everybody else just write in.
This is really good.
I
He
love
has
this.
commented on our Ghostbusters review.
What's the name of the gentleman again?
Jack Milne.
Hi, Jack.
His YouTube handle is... Sorry, did I say Jack?
Yeah, you
Zach.
did, Jack.
Sorry, Zach.
So his name's Jack Zack.
Yeah.
Jack Zack. Like Jack Attack in The Incredibles. His YouTube handle is Zach Milne Talks Movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We like it.
So he said, I'm not the biggest Ghostbusters fan, but I enjoyed the movie well enough, even if it was a bit messy. The inclusion of the OG cast mixed with the new cast worked well, and there was enough horror elements and comedic jokes that worked for me to walk out having a good time. Keep making videos, guys.
Oh, that's
thanks,
nice,
Zach.
isn't it? Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Yes.
That is all from the editorial department.
So that's our reviews. That's our top 10 out the way. Random reviews read by lovely listeners and readers. Peter McPete.
Hi.
I gave you some homework last week. Now, we didn't mention it at the end of last week's podcast because we had some technical issues.
Yeah.
Nikki, would you like to let the viewers know what Peter's homework was, please?
It was Old Boy.
And when was it made?
2003, so it can now legally drink in the US. Well, it can. It's 21 years old.
It can do.
Fabulous.
Peter McBeat, would you like to give the listeners and viewers the tiny synopsis of the story and what you thought about the film?
I don't really want to give a synopsis of the film. It's quite a tricky one to surmise.
I mean, it's old enough for you to give away the stuff.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna give you
You do what you have to do.
It's a
You
really
do you, Peter.
Yeah, you do you.
Okay. This film is South Korean.
It is.
And
Great haircuts.
Yeah. Yes. There you go. Review over. So the film opens with a slightly tubby South Korean man drunkenly messing around in a police cell waiting room.
Yes.
And just being basically a bit of a drunken idiot, and the police finding him really irritating and annoying. And I was just like, where are we going? What is this journey? What is about to happen?
I can't believe you've not seen this before. I'm so excited to hear what you're going to say. I'm going to get more comfortable.
Okay.
Carry on.
So the police get really frustrated with him, and he's in this holding bit for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then we kind of cut to him being in a weird prison, which is like an apartment block, but it's got a prison door on it, and his food's kind of passed through a little hatch at the bottom of the door.
Yeah.
And he's clearly not happy to be there. He doesn't know why he's there because he's screaming through the little hatch and trying to grab the guy who's brought his dinner through.
What are we doing in this room?
Yeah, what are we doing here? And he's basically in this room for 15 years.
Yes.
And
And don't you love the way that they portray time?
yeah, it's. I mean, this. So straight when you get to this point of the film, you realise. I mean, this is a very manga-esque film, isn't
exactly,
it? I mean, I can imagine reading this in a graphic novel,
100%,
as well as watching it as a movie, and it's edited really, really sharply, and the way the kind of plot is unrolling in front of you is sometimes very, very real and sometimes incredibly surreal.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, so at the end of 15 years, he makes his way, gets out of the apartment prison.
Yes.
And it becomes apparent that this is a private prison that people can pay.
If you would imprison somebody,
yeah,
you ring up these guys, and they'll take care of it for you.
Right, yeah,
exactly.
So they do that. So he's released from this prison
after 15 years.
Yeah, and it's quite clear that he isn't actually free. It's quite clear that he's being monitored through life.
Yes.
And he comes out and he's a very angry man, obviously, because he's been in prison for such a long time.
But he didn't technically, because if you explain to listeners, he tries to escape.
Yes.
And it's obvious that they catch him trying to escape.
Yes.
And then the next thing you see him in a suitcase in the middle of a field.
Yes.
Getting out of said suitcase.
Yes. It is.
Yes.
It is bonkers.
Yes.
The bonkersness of this is kind of explained the further you go through the film, but kind of on the chronological timeline after he gets out of prison.
Yes.
He is trying to work out where the prison is.
Yeah, he's obsessed with it, actually, isn't he?
So vengeance is the word which kind of keeps coming up.
Not so Monkey Man.
No, but he's trying to work out where he was, why he was there, who put him in there, and he wants to do something about it.
You'd be the same, wouldn't you?
100%.
Exactly.
100%. So anyway, so he starts off trying to find the location, but brilliantly cleverly, because during the 15 years in prison, the only thing he was fed was pork dumplings, and in one portion of his pork dumplings there was a tiny little piece of restaurant receipt, which said Blue Dragon.
Yes, something like that.
So he basically goes to all the Blue Dragon restaurants and blind tastes all of their pork dumplings to see.
So clever.
But all of the little bits like that are super so clever, aren't they?
Yeah.
And anyway, so
but he does this journey because he bumped into somebody, doesn't he? And he does this journey with somebody.
Yeah. So basically,
one of the dumpling restaurants, isn't it?
No, it's not. That's why I just took a little pause. It was a restaurant that he had seen for 15 years on the television in the prison of the world's best female sushi chef.
That's right.
And he goes to the restaurant to have her cook him a meal, and there's a really unusual interaction between the two
of a relationship, don't they?
Yeah, he eats a raw octopus in front of her, like a live octopus in front of her.
Yeah.
That's a really unsettling thing to watch, isn't it?
Maybe not that part of the world.
I think it still is quite an unsettling thing to watch. I mean, there is a dish where you have a recently killed octopus and the nerve endings are still going, so it wriggles. Yes. But this is a whole live octopus that he actually eats, and I googled it afterwards, and he did actually eat a raw octopus.
He's a
live octopus.
I do like him.
He's a Buddhist, so he actually had to pray after eating the octopus.
Go for a large toilet.
Wow, not that Buddhist.
A forgiving ending.
It's not that Buddhist if he eats it.
No, exactly.
Anyway, there we go. So yes, and then a beautiful relationship is forged between him and this young woman. And this is the bit where I really want our viewers to watch this film and learn what happens rather than me say what happens. We find out that the imprisoner was an old school friend of his.
That's right.
And there is a really good reason why he put him in a private prison. And
15
then
years.
There is some vengeance served. And then there is one of the weirdest endings of a film I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's
And do you like it? It was refreshing. It wasn't a horror from me.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a horror. I mean, it is.
It's a different direction from me.
Oh, totally.
But it's still a James movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is. It is bizarre,
isn't it?
It is so bizarre.
This is so revered in the world of filmmaking. Everybody loves this.
Yes, it's. So I watch everything that you give me totally blind, and I like to know absolutely nothing about it. I started liking this film literally from the first second. It is so good, and the way that it's made, that kind of manga-esque, and it's just so weird that you don't really know what you're watching for a lot of the film because
it's messy, but it's not messy at the same time, isn't it?
It's so messy.
Yeah,
it's just like
but so sharp at the same time.
Yeah, it is. It's just a very, very cleverly put together, scene by scene by scene, and as you kind of realise the journey that you're being taken on, you can't help but your jaw drop wider and wider and
Did you get it before it happened?
Yeah.
It's not that much of a twist of a turn, but it's the uncertainty of not.
But that's what I mean. It's not like a scene where you just go, "Oh my god, that's what's happening." You're allowed to let it dawn on you for a period of time. What's
so you get along? Oh my god!
And you do feel quite sick and uncomfortable, and it's but it's still quite elegantly comedic as well. I mean, it's
very funny. It's very funny.
It's not Tarantino-y.
No.
It's not Tarantino-y, but it's got that kind of balance where some of the violence is comedic.
That's right.
I mean, there's one scene in it where when he's breaking out of prison, which is like
with the claw hammer.
Yeah. But it's filmed in a way where it looks like it's on stage, or like a shadow puppetry.
You get the cat. It's a long corridor, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's one continuous scene.
Beautiful.
The fight scene is so elegantly done. It's just so amazing.
The reason why I've chose this movie is because that scene in particular reminded me of Monkey Man.
Oh right, yeah.
You see the connection?
Yeah.
There's definitely Dev was obviously.
Well, I said that last week that it was Dev Patel's Monkey Man is Dev Patel's homage to his movie watching.
Exactly.
100%.
And you can definitely tell he's watched his movie multiple times.
The ending? Okay, because there is different ways that you can take the ending. And I still think I've chosen a way which I should have chosen a different way of taking the ending, because that makes me ick quite a lot.
Yeah.
And but this is a film that everybody has to watch. This is. I
can't believe you haven't seen it.
Oh, we've got a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
And we haven't got 10 out of 10.
Okay.
But we've got a really, really, really great film.
It goes really fast as well, doesn't it?
It's exhausting. I mean, it is. I mean, but.
And you forget what I love about certain films, particularly certain really well made foreign films, when you forget completely that you're reading subtitles.
Oh, totally, yeah.
That's when you know you're being drawn into that world.
Yeah, because when I haven't mentioned any of the characters' names or anything, because I
would have no idea how to
read them rather than heard them, because I was so engrossed in the subtitles. Right. But what the change in pace and style of this film is really stark but really seamless as well. You go through really emotional scenes and really violent films, whereas like Monkey Man last week was just bang, like the whole way through. This isn't like that at all. There are moments.
More elegant.
It's really, really elegant. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 7.8. It's
good. I'm really pleased.
It's a really, really great film.
And when I suggest a film to you and you tell me you haven't seen it, I get really, really excited.
Yeah, well, you generally pick really interesting films to watch, and I don't like all of them, but I can understand why you do. And me learning how you watch film now, like watching Civil War last night, it made me really excited to hear what you thought of it, because I know that Alex Garland is like a real big thing to you, and I thought last night it was a shot and a miss yesterday, and I wanted to hear why you didn't think that, and that is what we're here to do,
and that's what we're here for.
But even the reviews we've had from our listeners and viewers. They agree with both of us, which is really weird.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Old Boy is 8.3 on IMDb.
Yeah.
It's had 40 award wins and 27 nominations.
Yeah. Chainsaw.
No Chainsaw.
I did check for Chainsaw.
It is based on the Japanese manga called Old Boy.
Okay.
And Yuji Tae had to learn yoga for this movie.
Oh my God! He does a dragonfly, and it was like incredible.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Choi Min Sik trained for 6 weeks and lost 20 pounds to get in shape for his role, and he did most of his own stunt work. And then, with reference to the octopi.
One octopus, 2 octopi, I think.
4.
Oh wow!
Oh, it wasn't an octopi; it was raw, and it was alive.
So it says 4 live. It says here octopodes, which is apparently the Greek way of saying
it. I like that. I prefer it that way, though.
Were eaten by Dae-soo in the sushi bar, a scene which provoked some controversy abroad. Eating live octopus in Korea is actually commonplace, although it is usually sliced first. And when the film
not live for long then.
no, but as in it's not cooked, it's chopped alive. And when the film won the Grand Prix at Cannes, the director actually thanked the octopodes along with the cast and crew.
And so he should do. Yes, they sacrificed their lives.
Would that suggest there's more than one take?
And again.
You would think.
And again. Now, did you notice that he was the same actor from Lucy as well?
No.
Yeah, he was a baddie in Lucy as well. So there you have it.
Great film, mate.
So that is
Really
is Old Boy. I am so pleased you hadn't seen it before.
I think I've undercooked the score.
I think you have.
Yeah.
I think we should see what the viewers and listeners think.
Why don't you let us know what you thought of Old Boy if you've seen it before? Any seasoned film goers will obviously know that film. Anybody new to the game, watch it and let us know what you think.
Please.
Please do. Please.
It was available on
Sky
and Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Good.
It was free on everything.
Good. Right.
What are we doing next week?
Well, I'm seeing Abigail over the weekend, so we'll be reviewing that, and you're going to be talking. What are you? And you're going to see Back.
We're going to see Challengers on Monday.
And Back to Black as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have 2 or 3 movies to talk about next week.
Yeah.
Your homework. I've
Yes.
got 2 choices for you again.
Okay.
Choose one of them. It's fine. I went to see this film with Lawrence, who just picked the review up.
Oh, wicked. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Some time ago, a couple of years ago. Have you seen the film Whiplash?
Yes.
Have you seen the film Midsummer?
Don't think so.
You would remember Midsummer. It's another A24 film.
No, I haven't seen Midsummer.
That is your homework.
And it's Midsummer.
Yeah, I've got that.
Sommar.
Yeah, got.
Okay.
It's Florence Pugh. It's her catapult into the limelight.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
simple as that. And it's the role that everybody suddenly realised, my God, that person can act.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, there are certain scenes in this film where she evokes so much emotion that you feel like you're actually experiencing exactly the same emotion.
Wow.
There you go.
You can get it on Google Play, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime.
Awesome.
So you've got a couple of choices there.
So Florence Pugh is quite...
It's going back to my old...
Okay.
I'm just warning you.
Okay.
And
Well, it could have been Whiplash, couldn't it? But I'd seen that already. It's about drumming, of course I'd seen it.
I love that film so much.
I was just going to say, Florence Pugh...
Yes.
So, she was one of the characters in June the 2nd.
She was.
That I thought was a little bit miscast the first time I saw it.
However,
Now I've seen it 3 times.
you go, actually...
She's absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant.
Because what she does is, if you notice, she's that perfect yin and yang between her and Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's balanced beautifully.
Yeah, it's so,
Everything
she's so
everything is
good
done
in
on purpose. It's so clever.
Yeah.
So clever.
100%.
Right then, so that's it. So we've done our top 10. We've told you what to watch at the cinema this week. We've let you know about Civil War. So I'm recommending you go and see it at the cinema. Pete, not so much, but ignore him. That's fine.
Well, I would say, if you
Yes.
go and see it at the cinema, you've got a 50-50 chance you're going to like it.
That's very true.
Well,
That's
it
very
does,
true
it does
indeed.
seem to be that's the reviews
That's right.
of it. Isn't
And
it?
if you're not going to the cinema this week, stream Old Boy
Oh yeah, please do.
and let us know what you think about
Even
it
if you go to the cinema, stream Old Boy.
afterwards.
Buy Old Boy.
Exactly.
It's that
Yeah.
good. It's a film that I will be
You
watching.
need it. You
time
need
and
it
time
as a download or a DVD. You need it to go. I'm short on a movie. I want to watch, and it's the sort of thing you can watch over and over again. I think
Yeah, absolutely.
very much so. Nikki and Mickey, do you have any outros? Do you have any last minute moments for us to let our viewers and listeners know about?
Just where people can find us, please.
Okay then, Peter.
YouTube.
Go on to our Popcorn Pundits YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram. What else are we on, Nikki?
Spotify.
Facebook.
Yes.
Can you message on Spotify?
You can't mess on Spotify, but you can definitely Instagram us.
Yeah,
DM
Facebook,
us.
Instagram, WhatsApp, if you know our numbers, and TikTok as well. We are on TikTok.
And we are also on Apple Podcasts as well.
Yeah.
We are everywhere. We're here inside you.
That was unnecessary.
I
Wasn't
know.
it?
Have you met James? That was not.
Would you like to prepare us out?
I don't know if I'm over the being insulted.
If I touch your knee at the same time.
time.
Popcorn Pundits.
Podcast.
number 25.
Thank you, Nikki.
Were you trying to be a drummer there? That was interesting.
That was whiplash-tastic.
That was. Not my tempo.
No, that's not my tempo.